Being our first introductory lesson to ancient Rome, this first lesson will very much be grounded to establishing routines, stimulating interest, and assessing prior knowledge. The first activity will really be centered about this routine and outline what students will be able to, what they are required to bring into their class for every lesson. While they're entering the class, an image of a Roman amphitheatre will be projected for them on the projector to stimulate an interest, curiosity, a state of arousal as to what this image might be, how is it going to gauge into our next lesson. As the Roman amphitheatre continues to be projected for the class, I will give the students a link for an introductory Padlet concept map. So on the Padlet, students will be given an opportunity to tell me anything they already know about ancient Rome. They can be as broad or as descriptive as they want. This is very much an icebreaker, but for a great way for me to assess their ZPD, assess their prior knowledge. From a constructivist point of view, it's actually very fantastic because students will be able to see each other's opinions in a very non-pressure, informal space and assess their own hypotheses. Not only a great icebreaker, but for me, a great way as a formative assessment to provide some feedback as well. So following on from this icebreaker, students are then going to watch a 5-minute National Geographic video. This will give some more visual stimulation based on the knowledge that they've just started to form in the concept map. Now they might be able to organise this knowledge into existing visual schemas. Although the next activity will be using some direct teaching, to avoid sort of an overuse of a didactic lectorial approach, I am going to be asking students to read out certain segments of the pages. Similarly, I'm going to ask students to consider not just the text, but maybe some of the pictures on the text in order to stimulate some higher order thinking. For Sam H, I might actually ask him, considering he struggles with literacy, etc. I might ask Sam, let's have a look at the patrician and plebeian clothes. What might they reflect about social class, standing, or wealth? In order to sequence learning logically and provide further scaffolding to the students, I'm just going to outline what will be covered for the next class topic. This will be done just to very much reinforce the learning outcomes and success criteria for today. Then as a closing activity, a bit of a fun kinesthetic exit ticket activity featuring tennis ball. Students will have to tell me something that they have learned from today, or I might ask them a question that reflects the learning outcomes, and then for them to leave the class, they've got to tell me something. Also for other students, they might just be more motivated to tell me something that has interested them today. For some of those students where the parameters of knowledge aren't defined for them, they might be more motivated to engage when it is about them personally. So for lesson 2, the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Just as students have just had their lunch break, so they might be feeling a bit restless, a bit excitable, my first activity will just be about establishing an atmosphere conducive to learning through a class collaborative stretching exercise. Although it's a bit unorthodox, I do want to establish a variety of approaches into how I begin classes. This might also actually just, they'll be a bit sort of curious as to why I'm beginning a class like this. Increased attention, concentration, and also for me, settling them down will actually help me establish the atmosphere conducive to the brief summative assessment task, which is going to happen straight after. So they're going to be given a small assessment task, summative assessment task based on the learning outcomes and success criteria from lesson 1. So the next activity will be a really fun role play, get into character group work activity, where students will be organised into groups of about 4 or 5 and given a corresponding key social group to investigate. They will be asked to investigate what foods contributed to their group's diet. So from a constructivist standpoint, based on the differences in how individuals perceive and formulate ideas, group work will really foster this aspect of discovery learning. They'll be motivated. Through various ICTs as well, we've gone from, in the digital age, we've gone from a scarcity to an abundance of digital sources, so they won't be short of finding sources either. One such differentiation I will make here is that I will be pairing Sam H with a group of stronger historical ability. There'll be mutual benefits for both him and some of his higher order group members. So for the next activity, I will be using direct teaching, but again, to avoid teacher talking time and this didactic approach, I'll pepper this presentation with some prompting questions. For example, I might ask students, well, what might bathhouses suggest about Roman communal values? Now, as this class has featured group work, direct instruction, and to provide some further differentiation, I'm going to finish with another short video, Eating and Entertaining in Ancient Rome. To end this class, I'm actually going to be finishing with a bit of a rapid fire question task where I might even set a timer to give students a bit of added incentive, added healthy pressure to answer some questions that will be addressed to learning outcomes and success criteria. However, as well, to promote self-regulated learning, I'm going to be asking students to make a journal entry tonight for homework that is based on anything they've learned from the first 2 lessons, and to bring in any resulting questions from this journal entry into the next class, where we'll be using a classroom forum time to answer some of these questions that they've brought in. So this is the third and final lesson, the values of ancient Rome. So in regards to addressing differentiation, this class will be a very different, very stimulating format where hopefully every student will have equal opportunity to participate. So I will have an image of a Roman forum as they will be coming into class. And I'll quickly take the time to address what a Roman forum was, where senators could debate issues, listen to each other, decide upon fiscal matters, etc. So I'm going to suggest that we're going to make our very own forum. We're going to orienteer the class design. We're going to move chairs into a discursive circle to foster a more collaborative and informal space. For Sam H, because this is not literacy based, not literacy, nothing to do with literacy, essentially, he'll be able still to contribute verbally. So for this Roman forum discussion time activity, my rationale here is to be not very much the conductor, but very much the facilitator of discussion or the mediator. Students here will be the active participants. I think from a constructive perspective, students will be more ready and engaged when I have attempted to create a real world ancient setting. Again, they'll be more engaged for longer as an activity of 30 minutes. There should be ample time for every student to contribute, and I can monitor this. So if I see that some students are more vocal than others, I might take the time to ask them something more broad and more personal to include them. I might ask them for something that they have simply enjoyed, something that has stimulated or interested them for the last 2 classes. And from that, I'll try to steer their answer back into the class focus of Roman values. As well, this will give us an opportunity to be effective communicators. So just as ancient Rome emphasized public speaking and rhetoric, I'm going to be expecting that we treat each other with the same sort of values. We will listen to each other, respect each other's opinions, not speak over each other, and we will evaluate each other's opinions collaboratively. Keeping students in their seats, I'm going to use another ICT method, a fun, everyone loves one, a Kahoot, just based on knowledge from the content knowledge of the last 2 classes. Again, another formative assessment for me, but also I do want to have some interactive fun with the students and actually recognise their efforts and celebrate their efforts for the last 2 classes as well. And as a final activity, students are going to make an entry into a concluding Padlet, which will be their class exit ticket. I also think that because I have begun the unit with an introductory Padlet, bookending this with a concluding Padlet will also allow me to compare students' initial thoughts, views, hypotheses, and let me assess their growth and their sort of understanding of some of the assessed learning outcomes. Apart from being another formative assessment task where I can give feedback, I've asked students to as well answer a question regarding their metacognitive awareness of their learning processes. So in the Padlet, I also ask, how has your learning improved by studying ancient Rome? Apart from, again, reinforcing self-regulated learning and assessing learning intentions, success criteria, etc., I think as well, as a teacher, it gives me the opportunity for self-reflection, evaluating my own methods, what worked and what didn't, what can I change for the next time I teach ancient Rome, what didn't work and how I could further alter my methods and make the study of the next time I do ancient Rome for my students more engaging.